Now presenting Mr. Mike Coyne, Governor's Hurricane Conference Board member representing the National Weather Service.
Good afternoon, everyone. Our next award is the Tropical Meteorology Award. It's presented to an individual or organization that has made outstanding or substantial contributions to the advancement and knowledge, application, or understanding of the hurricane forecasting and warning process in the state of Florida. Since 2004, Mr. Mike Boylan has been educating people about trends, model runs, and everything else tropical weather related through his website. He does not forecast, but his dedication and contributions to the citizens of Florida and providing tropical weather information in layman's terms, helping to explain what the forecast trends mean, and how to follow all the extensive maps, charts, and graphs located on his website, Mike's weather page, aka SpaghettiModels.com. The 2021 Tropical Meteorology Award goes to Mike Boylan of Mike's weather page.
Just click on Mike's page, Trump Donkey Nation. Well, there'll always be some haters, but they don't understand. Mike's got a friend and 100,000 more across the land. Well, if you want to know it first and you want to know it right and you want to have time to plan, Drunk Donkey Nation tells your friend, Mike, he's your man. And he's gonna tell you all about the wind and the rain. Gonna tell you if it's gonna be a storm or if it's gonna be a hurricane. Don't you worry about the news others try to hide. Click on Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nationwide. Yeah, here on Mike's page, Drunk Donkey Nationwide.
All right, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Had to go grab Louie. I couldn't find him. He was sleeping with Emily. It's like, Louie, where are you? Oh, anyway, happy Monday. How's the sound over there better now, Shelly? God, always something over there we got to figure out. Greetings from Riverview. Katie, I haven't worn your shirt yet, but I'm excited about it. I'm going to get a secondary microphone let's try that tomorrow. I can have two mic inputs, and we'll do one separately for the Brew crew. There you go. All right, well, here we are for the Daily Brew. No tropics to talk about, but we got a little bit of weather to talk about. So we'll talk about that. Phil, glad it's better. Oh, man, I need a producer here. I got so many buttons. So many buttons to hit. I'm glad I turned the phone off, by the way. It's rang twice since I went live. Oh, my goodness. Here's Louie, the man, the original. Put Sarah to work. I'll put Emily to work. There you go. We toured Gulf Coast State College and checked out their digital media program, which is amazing. It'd be good for her. Austin, what's up, buddy? Is that my boy Austin? It is Austin. I think it's Austin. Austin, yeah, man. Had a great time at the FTEM, as you could tell online. Amazing show that the Florida Division of Emergency Management put on. 1,100 people showed up there last week over there in Orlando. And I was very thankful that I went. I met a lot of great people, a lot of emergency management folks, and it was like a get together. So here's my man. Here's Louie, the original. Lonely Louie. He doesn't know we have a little brother coming for him soon. You got a little brother coming. His name's Longo. He's doing a lot better. We were gone this weekend, and luckily, Emily's good friend Nessa came over and watched him a few times a day. Kept him happy. So, Chris, yeah, I kind of read a little bit about that up in Destin. Sad story, yes. Keem, yeah, I was in Valdosta, man. It was a good trip 2 weeks ago. Humidity is crazy. Never. I could not believe. Yes, it is linked to Austin. Yep, I got it right here, buddy. Austin asked about Google AI. It's right there. Look at that. You knew I'd put it on there. I've already was playing with it this morning, actually. So that's for you, Austin. Google AI. The very top left. Morning, Miss Tammy. How's it going? Richard Reimer. Not Reamer. We learned that. James, what's up, buddy? Hey, 4 days of lives this week, James. No live Friday. I'll be in Minnesota for a wedding. Marcy, good morning. Yeah, the shirt story was funny, Eric, because I saw you wearing it. I'm like, that's a cool looking shirt. Then I started putting 2 and 2 together. I'm like, wait a minute. Shelly, I get your texts, but they're not coming up. I got to unlock my phone now. I don't know how to access my Google Voice. It's coming through my Google Voice number, which it doesn't come through. You got to do the other number. The other number. Ray's looking good. Who said that? Yeah. Okay, that's the one. You think by now we'd have this figured out. I got so many numbers and phones. So let's say hi for a few more minutes, and then we'll go. Yeah, we're going to talk about the new dog, Gus. Yep. Hi, folks. What's up, Pink Flamingo? Who we got new watching? Good morning, Marianne. I was up in your neck of the woods. Beth up in Clearwater. Was it raining down in Clearwater, Beth? Yes. So we'll be live tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday. No live Friday because I'll be up in Minnesota. Phil, my good buddy Phil, which some of y'all know, will be having his daughter getting married. And Emily and I are flying up there for that. So I have to dress up again. Kiki, good morning. Chad Bolin, I like your name, buddy. Trenton, Florida. Where's that at? Okay, this one. That's the one. Send me the last one. Whatever you got. Oh, I was in St. Mark's, Forgotten Bay. Yeah, we were very, 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 very short time. I just wanted to go meet the folks. In fact, let's talk about that. I have the koozie here. So I went and saw my good friend from Boland's Grocery. Look at that. I want the girls to go see the place. 1936 established. Have a little soft spot in my heart because I never even knew about St. Mark's. And then I was up there for Helene and met a lot of locals. And now I know St. Mark's. And I took the girls there and we had some amazing meatloaf. They had beer, but I didn't really want to have one. So they offered one. But I was still drinking Monster Energy then. 30th anniversary, good for you, Deborah. Hard to tell, man. It's just we're in that rainy season right now. I posted the rain map. We're going to talk about it. We had just amazing amount of rain across from Texas. We had Texas flooding. Unfortunately, there was a lot of lives lost in San Antonio area. We had a lot of flooding in Louisiana. We had a lot in the mountains, West Virginia last night. Carolinas, just a crazy wet pattern the last several days. Not storms so much, just, summer. Oh, anyway, big shout out to my good friends at ABC Fine Wine and Spirits. This is our Daily Brew, sponsored by our good friends at ABC Fine Wine and Spirits. Hello, Mary. Hello, Sean, if you're watching, and all the good folks there. We appreciate all you do for me. And MWP, we love you all to death, and we looking forward to doing some fun stuff this year with you. We always put together some fun commercials, and hopefully we'll do a meet and greet. They got canceled last year because of Helene and Milton. Nothing compared to what the storms did, so not complaining, that's for sure. Oh, let's say a few more hellos and we'll get right into it. Let me show, oh man, yeah, bad flooding. I know West Virginia was terrible, Sue. Those mountains are, and we got more today. We had a flash flooding near San Antonio. We had lost a lot of folks. Cars swept away. West Virginia, the flooding is just unbelievable. And that seems to be the story the last several years has been these incredible rainfall totals that just create terrible floods. But hey, Steve, good morning. Morning, Angie. This is a water vapor map, kind of showing you what's out there. Nothing really cooking. But a couple things we're going to talk about, and then we'll go right into it. Port St. Joe, Patrick. Love that area too. My good buddy Tyler up there. You ever go to Scallops Cove? Just make sure you stop by and say hey to them. They got the big old chair out front, the Adirondack chair. Adirondack. Too much rain. Oh man, that's not good. What does that do? Just too much fresh water? Be curious to know. All right, so the big news last night, I was excited to share with everybody, is we have that little guy. Look at Louie, look. Louie, look. That's your brother. Look, you're going to have somebody to play with. You see him? Look, there he is. Right here. Oh, he's right there. That's Longo. Virtually. There's Longo. See him? That's Longo. Longo. He knows something's up. He's looking around. He's doing a lot better. Well, anyway, let me tell you the story real quick. By the way, we're not arguing about where we're getting Longo. That's not for my page. But we had a nice lady reach out to me that tagged somebody. Turns out it's a perfect combination. I'm not going to go any more on that. So we're so excited. We're picking up Longo July, about 3-4 weeks. And yeah, you'll be the first to see him. We'll do it live, and we'll be doing our daily brews with Louie and Longo. So there you go. Longo needed a home, and guess what? It's going to be Mike's Weather page. But it's kind of got that bandit look to him. And we saw some videos of him playing. He looks amazing. He should be about the same size as Louie, maybe about 15 pounds, we're hoping. So that'll be a good, hopefully 10 years from now, we'll be talking about Longo. Hunter unfortunately didn't make it to 6, but it was exciting to make the connection. I had to have a personal connection to any next puppy, and this one has a lot of that. And I'll share a little more down the road once we get Longo, but it's a perfect setup. We're really excited, and he's got these cute little eyebrows. And we had Cody was our first dog as a family. It was a border collie, and then we had Rusty as it was a lab, and then of course Louie and Hunter. And this has a little bit of all those colors in there, so maybe all the personalities will come out. So excited about that for sure. And one more thing real quick. I want to talk about that post. Went pretty viral. It was more of a hello, all the new folks, because we're up to 4 million followers now across all our socials, and I get a lot of folks confused about the non-weather posts, and I had to remind them that that's who I am and who I've been and who I'll always be, because when I meet so many of y'all out there in the real world, we talk about things that I share, and that's what makes us all connected one way or another. You have to kind of kind of trust who you're getting information from, and a lot of that trust comes from familiarities and similarities. And I enjoy talking to people. I talk to so many people, so much that Emily gets so mad at me. She's like, Dad, they're trying to walk away, and you keep talking, and they come back, and I'm like, I know, I just can't stop talking. And Sarah says it every day. She goes, you talk a lot. So, but a lot of this, relationships that we make with Mike's Favorite Page over the years has been because of the stuff that I do that I like to share, because that's what we do. So, if you want weather 24/7, then there's a lot of sources for that, right? National Weather Service is great. We share them all the time. NOAA, even local Mets share a lot of non-weather now. So, but the bashing gets me, and I get pissed off. So, you probably might get banned if you tell me how to run my page. That's all. I don't lose any sleep over it because I don't need it. The weather's a hobby of mine, and I'll always be doing weather. And if I want to share a late night pick, drinking a little Jim Beam, then I'm going to do it. And if it makes you mad, turn the page. That's all. I'm not going to stop. So that was probably, that was that post. I had so many comments that day. I thought this was a weather page. Well, no. It's a Mike's Dash weather page. So, yeah, Teresa, you didn't hear? Yeah, Hunter passed very suddenly. It was so sad. Oh, my God. He was it still hurts me. He's just my little guy, but he was supposed to go back in December, and we got 6 awesome months out of him more, and he lived a great life. He was a little runt. He was probably not the most healthy dog, but we gave him a good home, and he was a happy dog. So, and this dog's gonna be happy. This dog needed a home too, and we're going to be his home long ago. He's got the best home, because without us, maybe he wouldn't have a home. So, weather. I'm not going to read comments, because then I'll go on a rant again. I'm not going to go on a rant. But I'll read comments in about 5 minutes. But I do want to... Oh, Judy, thank you. Judy, I hope you're doing good. I've been thinking of you a lot. And my buddy... Chelsea, 9 practices canceled. Oh, my God. But, all right, so this is the weather. Looks like a little heart, right? So this is all the weather. This is the big weather up north today. This is Monday. Scattered showers in the light green area. A lot of folks get confused with these graphics because they see that light green and they think everybody's going to get rain. No, these are just areas that could. This is where the environment's setting up. So not everybody in the orange is going to see storms. Not everybody in the yellow is going to see storms. It's just that area has the environmental conditions that could produce. And what I saw this weekend, which we're going to talk about it, that P-Watt, moisture in the air, popcorn storms wherever you went. But that's the storms today. Got a little heart tomorrow, Tuesday. Same general area tomorrow. Wednesday starts to slide in. We got a little frontal line coming in on Wednesday. Now watch what happens on Thursday. This is a little bit of more of our coverage area. So Thursday, the line pushes towards the mid-Atlantic northward a little bit. So Carolinas northward could see some storms on Thursday. So we'll digest more of that tomorrow. It'll get fine-tuned. But that could be something, Thursday. That line pushes towards the east. The same line is weakening the high that we've been dominating with here a little bit, and that'll possibly allow Invest 94E to pull up and bring some juice to the lower Gulf, Western Gulf, Texas some. So that same system we've been talking a lot about could bring, because the pattern shift is pushing our high a little bit, going to allow a little more opening, a little more gap for that Mexico flow northward. So that'll be kind of the only really thing we're talking about tropical juice-wise later in the week because of this pattern, if that makes sense. Here's the rainfall today. I put this out there today. This is your 24-hour rainfall totals. Not a lot, but look at that coverage area. This has been the story. This doesn't cover all of Texas. I don't do that on purpose. That's just what pops up when I hit southeast. But this is rainfall through tomorrow. And look, we've already got our west central rains so far today. We're going to have a little bit of that flow, but you can kind of follow that full flow, right? The southeast part of Florida is kind of dry. A lot of Atlantic winds rolling in, pushing everything more of a north pattern along the west central sides, central part of Florida, up into the upper Gulf. And you can see then that rain starts to pivot a little bit more to the northeast around Louisiana, and really starting to get up around Carolinas there again. So the Carolinas got the most amount of rain today. Pretty much all of North Carolina here going to get something, or most everybody, and that we got inches, so we could get an inch, possibly 2 inches here across a lot of the Carolinas, and so that'll be something to watch out for today. Rainfall the last 72 hours. This is kind of a tough map because green is actually up to 4 inches. I wish we could set the colors a little different. I don't think we can, but everybody in the green basically an inch or more, and this look at southeast Florida. But you can follow the flow. This is the last 72 hours. And look, you can almost see this flow pattern here, coming around and blocking because of our high here. And that flow pattern has been doing that. And that's kind of what we had the last 72 hours. And we're going to have again today. So it's kind of interesting that part of the state. We had a lot of fires, James, right? You guys talked about it. We had quite a few fires shutting down Highway 41 yesterday down in the Everglades area, South Florida. So this area has been denied as the flow kind of been doing that. That was the last 72 hours of rain. So that's pretty interesting, right? Unfortunately, we had a lot of flooding. Texas, Louisiana, West Virginia, we had a lot of fatalities because of that flooding. Quick, fast-moving floods are very dangerous. So it's very important to stay in tune in the weather and kind of know where it's coming, when it's coming, and chances of where you live. So, morning, David Berryhill, Carolinas. Getting a lot of rain today up there, buddy. Thank you, Jeff. Over there on YouTube. How do I say that? I-C-O-R-O. Appreciate that. It's going to be wet in Georgia today, Amy. Yes. So it rained here this morning, okay? People always ask me, and we're in that pattern that it's going to rain here or there, here or there, any time of the day. It's like there's so much juice in the atmosphere right now that we don't have any classic flow pattern this last several days that we normally used to see. You used to set your clock here in the west part of Florida at 3 o'clock every day. You'd see storms coming this direction. But now we're kind of in that weird pattern where it's the high. And really, tropical speaking wise, we don't have a huge blocking high at this moment. We kind of have juice flowing up out of that Gulf. But we have some dry air. We got some wind shear. Just homegrown little sneaky systems this time of year usually are just tropical storms, and they could pop up quick. We got a big blob down there this morning, I noticed, down in the BOC. Let me see if it's still there. There it is. I almost posted it, but it probably would have got people thinking I'm hyping. I'm not going to do that. But there is a blob down there. Sometimes these blobs become stuff. But when they're high pressure areas at the moment, pressures usually need to drop first before any sort of low pressure circulation develops. If we look at, first thing I always just do just for giggles is, everybody's got a Ventusky, windy, or Knoll School here. They all have these wind maps, and this is just showing you more of a convective burst more than any sort of a low pressure area. So there's your strong winds kind of flowing, showing you why we have rains here in the morning time, because there's your flow pattern, and that's why we had rains right now, and that's why we have a lot of rains here, and this is why we have a lot of rains here, is this flow pattern, and it's kind of strong right now, but there's no low level circulation, so the blob down there is not really doing much. Look at 500 millibar, maybe a little bit of but that's more, I don't know, no low level. You got to have low level. Now here's Invest 94E. This one. Well, actually, that's not. This is down here. This is the D storm. What is the D storm? We're already up to a D storm. Well, I'll look at it later. There's a D storm out there. Uh-oh. There it is. This is a new one. This is Invest 94E. This is the one that might end up curving back up into Mexico to watch. So we'll talk about this. This could be the next E storm. I don't even keep up with the D storms and the E storms. I saw inaccurate. This is not the earliest D storm. Somebody posted it was. We've had D storms in May before. But anyway, Pacific's hot, man. We're up to the E. We're up to their 5th storm now. Crazy, right? Nothing here. Spooky. But anyway, there's the rainfall totals. If you want to know where this map's at on my site, let me show you. That's a favorite site of mine. So if you go to all the radar maps here, right here, look at MRMS radar. You click on that one right there, and I'll show you how to get to it. And you got a bunch of buttons here. But go down to Q3 multi-sensor or radar, same thing. Multi-sensor 72-hour. Enable your wheel mode, and you can zoom super duper in and get some accurate totals in the last 72 hours and, you know, that kind of stuff. So then you can go to 48 hours, 24 hours, 12 hours. If you're curious. West Virginia had a lot of rain. Fast moving. You might think, oh wait, it's not really a lot of rain. It's because of the mountains. You know, you take a piece of paper and you dump 2 inches of water on a piece of paper, it spreads out. You take that piece of paper and make a V, dump that same 2 inches of water. Guess what? You got a lot of water at the bottom of the mountains and the bottom of the hills, and that's, you know, it doesn't take a lot of rain to create a lot of flooding in the mountain areas. But we did have a lot of rain in the Carolinas, Rocky Mountain here. See what other areas I can pop up. Wilson, Greenville, just east of Raleigh. 5, 6, 7 inches in the last 24 hours. So that was a lot of rain in the Carolinas, and there's more coming today. Let's talk about the tropics. Summer rain pattern. What's up? Jay, what's up? Delilah, there you go. Hey, it was nice to meet you, Jay. Been a long-time fan this weekend. Up there in Tallahassee, we talked a long time. Morning, Ian. Hey there, Delilah. Is that song, Hey There, Delilah? Delilah? Hey, did I show the Boland's grocery thing? I think I did. All right, so tropics are quiet. This is your 7-day map. There you go, Shelly. There you go. Interactive. I like it. So there's your tropics map. Next 7 days, nothing. I got some stats I'm going to show you here in a second. Why is this web page open right here? I have no idea, but I'm going to leave it that way. I don't want to start clicking things. So there you go. 7-day forecast, nothing brewing. Notice even that lower Gulf, it isn't expected to develop into anything organized. We're going to talk about this little area in the BOC possibly. It was this time last year, we were already talking about Beryl. Can you believe it? It was this time last year. We were picking up on long-range modeling for Beryl. Beryl, you know, Western Caribbean, the end of June, early July, Cat 5. But we were already talking about it. You know, 10-day maps, 15-day tropical maps we started seeing. So, you know, compared to last year, it is slow. It is slower. Yep, Cedar Key. Who wants to know about Cedar Key? Let me show you a trick real quick. This I use all the time. Right here. 2 things you can click. You can type your little city right here, or you can do it right there. And bam, it's awesome. This is direct. Type in Cedar Key, which I just drove by yesterday. There's your Cedar Key forecast. And it updates all the time. National Weather Service. If you want BAM forecast to the hour, there you go. And what I like is reading their local forecast discussion. They update this several times a day, and this is their local 906. They just updated this less than an hour ago. So if you really want to read, I know nobody reads anymore. How many, Shelly, how, you have to laugh at your all cells. I introduced Longo yesterday. I must have had a dozen people say, "Oh, what's his name going to be?" But anyway, if you like to read, the local discussion is great. And then the other thing that's really cool is this NWS forecast points. I really love this one. This is a secret site I don't think anybody else knows about. It's a National Weather Service product, and I have it defaulted to Tampa. But if you zoom out and go to where you want to go, I love this map, man. I love this map so much. It's a lot of HRRR data, so it's not really, we were tracking Gulf Coast Jam, and it showed 70% rain all day because that area, radar is your best. Know the weather pattern, know the chances, know your area, and then radar is your next best thing, because just because it says 70% doesn't mean you're going to get rained out. It just means that general area where you're at is going to be extra juicy, and there's going to be a chance of rain. But if you got a storm cloud off to your west, and it's going northeast, and you're to the south of that, you can almost guarantee you're not going to get it. So it's still tricky. But let me zoom in. What the hell is it? There's Horseshoe Beach. It doesn't even pop up on this map. Oh, there we go. Okay, we just had to really zoom in here. Somewhere down here. Come on, there we go. South is the Horseshoe. Right there. Is that right there? Swanee? No, a little far. There we go. So click on Cedar Key, and then you get all this detailed information. Oh, it's so awesome. There's your 7-day probability of thunder. Then you got daily. You can zoom and you can slide it Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and look at wind direction. And then you got little grids, and you can click on the grids, and you got all this stuff. So you got a plethora of data at your fingertips. So, good morning, Mr. Richard. How's it going, buddy? Possible hurricane. No, where do you see that, Ian? I have not seen anything showing a hurricane hitting Jamaica. No, I haven't seen anything. All right. Not to say. One day, unfortunately, but I haven't seen anything in the models in the next 15 days showing any sort of storm to watch. So, I watch. So anyway, let's talk about this Invest 94E. This is an area that looks like it could be actually a hurricane. It's going to curve up towards Mexico there to watch. Now, some of the remnants might end up in the Gulf later midweek to end week. So this one might be the 5th storm in the Pacific. You're asking, why are you talking about it? Well, because it might bring some weather to Texas. And we got people that live in Texas. There's your spaghetti models here on tropicaltidbits.com. Some of the ensembles had it going a little farther north. Remember, everything kind of still pulls up, but if we got this flow, that wind flow that I showed earlier, this lower level wind flow will pick up the moisture even if it's not organized, and that moisture will end up pulling to the north. So there's your lower level winds. Let's go to 850 here. I think that's 5,000 feet, right, Jay? We learned that together. But once these winds, once our remnant goes up here, some of these winds will pick up some of the leftovers and kind of pull it. That's why we have increased rain totals middle to end of the week, because of this system out here. Kind of fascinating. Last year, Milton came from over that direction. This is no Milton, though. So there you go, tropical tidbits. Could be a hurricane. So a lot of y'all hate the Google AI, and I get it. I don't take a side on anything. People are very passionate about things. So this stayed right down the middle. I learned from everybody. One thing that I have learned over the years is I look at all sides. I can see both sides most of the time, and I can accept all sides of thinking, and I'm okay with that. But I think when you bash me or anybody on the page, then that's not what the page is for. Save that for other pages. We respect people's opinions. And talk weather and beer and bourbon. So here's the Google AI. Hey, it's just going to be another tool this year. What's kind of cool about it is it lets you put on the Euro ensembles, which are really cool. Euro ensembles are my friend. The Euro ensembles are orange. Now, this is kind of neat. I mean, it looks like you're playing a video game. You see all these little lines bouncing around. It's all the center points of what's out there. So we don't have an established system yet. So I haven't really played with the Google AI as far as intensity guidance goes. But this is basically what it thinks Invest 94E is going to be like tomorrow. And the orange is the Euro and the blue is the Google. Google is now a tropical map, just like a Euro, just like the GFS, just like all of them. But what's kind of interesting is both of them take the remnants and pull it up towards Mexico. Good thing NASCAR wasn't racing there 3 days later, because NASCAR was just in Mexico City. They might have been dealing with the tropical downpours and a lot of rain. This is Wednesday. And notice a few of the ensembles take it into the BOC. And it's not organized. There's land, there's wind shear. But the rain field, like I said, could be leftovers. And there's a couple blue ones. These are the Google AI. So, we'll see. This is next Friday. We'll see if any leftovers are up here. Sometimes sometimes the BOC can spin things up too. Sometimes the curvature of the land, just the winds, sometimes they spin up quick. So you never turn your back on the tropics. You never say never. So we're kind of watching Invest 94E as the only really spot. And some of that juice ends up possibly getting, close. But again, the remnants are going to be up there. And officially, if you look at the National Weather Service here talking about it, they got their long-range outlook map here showing heavy rain 619, 620 on the bottom part of Texas. Long range looking too, by the way. That rainy pattern continues across the diagonally, Texas to Great Lakes. We got a little bit of block in the southeast on the next 7-day rains. A lot of severe weather up north, heat out west. All that makes sense. It was 122 degrees in Death Valley yesterday. Oh my God! And by the way, Jim Nelson, thank you, buddy. Never made a nice comment. Thank you. The comment about Alaska. Holy cow. I don't have an agenda. The National Weather Service started issuing heat advisories for Alaska. That was the first one. I didn't say it was record heat. I just said National Weather Service issued their first heat advisory for Alaska. They've had special weather outlooks for hotter weather. But now you see big red and you get warnings on your phone, and it wasn't meant to deceive anybody. And we're talking about Alaska. People got so mad about Alaska. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm just letting you know it was the first heat advisory for Alaska. I didn't make it up. It was National Weather Service's first heat advisory. Yeah, it's been hot there before. I clarified that. God, people were so mad on a weather page. But anyway, that was that post. I thought it was interesting, so I posted it. That's all. Anyway, so it's 122. So I was laughing today. I'm like, maybe I'll post a graphic showing it was 122 in Death Valley, California. But then I was like, oh my God, it's going to turn into my Alaska post, and I really don't feel like getting hate mail because I talked about facts. So anyway, there's a weather map. It's crazy. What else I got to show you? All right, so we got rain. Let me close the windows out. So we got that. We got the Google map. We talked about that. Next 15 days. Okay, so Ian, this is for you. So we look at things like ensemble maps and plots, and there's 51 members of the Euro, and we always show this map, and it's pretty much in there. This shows you low pressure centers. It doesn't really show you anything more than that. It does show you blues, greens, and reds. Higher chances of a stronger system or not based on the pressure readings. But this basically just kind of tells you there's really nothing supportive on the modeling to create a consensus of an area to watch. Never means that there couldn't be something popping up. Weather changes. But this is always usually one of the first graphics you look at to see if there's any consistent areas to watch, and there's not. So I ain't gonna make anything up. I'm not gonna make an area up that's not supportive. That's one thing. That's something I don't do. I'm not gonna make something up. The CMC was showing a hurricane in Texas yesterday, but now it's not, and it was an outlier. I didn't address it because it really wasn't going across the internet like the GFS was a month ago. I had to address the GFS a month ago because, my God, it was everywhere. And then people got mad because they're like, why aren't you talking about the GFS? I had to talk about the GFS because then people don't know who to believe. So I had to throw my 2 cents in. The GFS was spitting out a hurricane every run, if you remember, from Miami to Tampa to Keys to Louisiana to Texas to Mississippi. I mentioned Mississippi. All you Mississippi people, I talk about Mississippi. I get a lot of people mad at me. They're like, you always never talk about Mississippi. I talk about Mississippi all the time. There's that. All right, what else we got? I like this map. This kind of blends the colors together. Now, what you can see here, this is Invest 94E, and you can see a little bit. So, you know, like I said, if there's an area to watch, middle to the end of this week, maybe right there. So we'll keep my eye on it. I always like to tell people where we might want to watch something, and that would only affect Texas, if you know, obviously Mexico. But I don't know if anybody's watching us in Mexico. But maybe people vacation and are. But anyway, that's here. And then we go past the next week, and then we always get little hot spots. These are just waves. So really, 10 o'clock, I can stop talking. But really, in a nutshell, this season so far is defined by a large high pressure. Our waves are coming off very low. They're going into South America. They're crossing over. A lot of wind shear. We've had a lot of dusty, dry air, which is normal this time of year. But the waves are lower. They're going into South America. They're crossing over, and they're juicing up the Pacific. That's basically what's going on. So all these areas are just waves that eventually end up crossing over because we have a very strong high pressure pattern, not allowing these to enter the Caribbean. And until that changes, then it's going to stay quiet, you know, unless we get a little homegrown action. But we got a big blocking, you know, flow pattern that's bringing things across like that, denying anything across here right now. So that's where we're at, and it's very, very normal. You know, I talk about it all the time. There it is. June and July are very normal to have slow starts. So I'm not thinking it's going to be a bust season at this point at all. It's just everybody gets so amped up in May and June, and then we don't get anything, and everybody's like, season's a bust. And the emotions of hurricane season happens every year. We get all amped up for hurricane season, then nothing happens. Or we get a system in May, then we get nothing in June and July, and everybody thinks the season's over, and then bam, it happens. So the emotional roller coaster of hurricane season is real. People think the season's a bust at this point, and historically it is a bust in June and July. I don't know if the Daytona Firecracker 400 ever got rained out because of the tropics in July 4th. All those years of racing in Daytona in July. So, anyway, that's all I got to say about that. What else I got up here? Oh, here you go. Historically, from 1991 to 2020, the 30-year average, the first named storm usually is in June 20th, historically. First hurricane is August 11th, okay? So in 30 years, only takes one, remember that. 30 years, the first hurricane on average is August 11th. It's not even July yet. So I'm not prepared to throw out the checkered flag and say the hurricane season's over. All right. I like to go to 10 when we go live tomorrow. So I'm going to say hello for a few minutes. Yeah, Adam, yeah. If you ever want to look at a hurricane, go to the GFS 360 hour mark and you'll see something. Anyway. Yeah, Gus, honestly, they don't bother me as much anymore. They used to. Dust plumes. Hey, let's talk about that, Sandra. You know what? I wanted to show this earlier, but we didn't have enough daylight. I think this is actually showing you some of that dust. It's hard with the sun reflection across the Atlantic. So let's look at current data here and take a look at the current dust maps. I think there was a new plume coming out. The one that I showed over the weekend was leaving Florida and the southeast. That's why the juice. Think about it. The dust was gone, and bam, we had rain popping everywhere. Plus, we got the MJO. All right, we got so much stuff to talk about. The only thing, let's see. All right, let's go. Dust. Let's look at. I think there's a big plume I thought coming. So here's where we're at now. Popping into the scene. Boom, there we go. All right, there's the current kind of look here. 16th. All right, let's go right here. This is kind of where we're at. We got some across Caribbean. Ian, can you confirm? There's that. There's maybe another little plume coming in behind it. Let's see. End of the week. This is the 20th. A little bit up into the upper Gulf there. It kind of fizzles out a little bit. Maybe a big one here coming. That's a big one. So the next really big one for the Caribbean is the 24th. And that one looks like it'll try to reach. Oh, my goodness. Heck yeah. So there's the next big plume on the 24th. And it looks like in 10 days from now it's actually going to reach the Western Caribbean. But again, it's normal June and July. That's a big reason that June and July are slow. You get an idea, too, following the dust is the pattern of the waves. I learned that from my good friend Bobby, Hurricane Harbor. Never really thought about it, but the dust is a good indicator, kind of too, with the wave flow are. And we look at the monsoonal trough and all that stuff. We could save that for tomorrow, and we will. So I'm going to leave it on my page here. Say goodbye. It's not Land O'Lakes, Andrea. Nope. Well, you already had enough water to make lakes, so now we got new lakes being formed. Oh, Tyler, yeah, I've been following a lot on the Google AI. I'm still a little hesitant to get my pom-poms out. It did predict Milton pretty good, but it was only a few miles different than, I don't know. I didn't research it enough yet, honestly. I still like a blend of models and kind of formulating your own gut on the blend of models, multiple models. But it'll be an interesting tool this year. Oh, Ian, you're right, buddy. Okay, I just saw your comment. Yes, okay, I got you, Ian. Yep, I understand now. We were talking about the hurricane way before it got official. I got you now. I'm glad I read that comment. Brew Crew, I'll be over there in a minute. What am I doing? I got a lot today on my plate. Hey, guess what? Tomorrow I got a huge interview on Fox Weather. Any of y'all watch that? I'll announce it tomorrow, but I got a nice 5 to 6 minute live video. I don't know if it's going to be live or taped or what. Next week I got a big convention with the Fish and Wildlife FWC. I'm excited about all the big dogs in the marine world. So yeah, 2A Willie. I'll be looking at it. It's like everything. It's a new tool, and now that we have the site, like I said, it's up here on my site. If you just joined in, I have a link on the very top of my site, Google AI, if you want to play around with it. This is their tropical weather lab model that it defaults to. There you go. So that's all in there if you want to mess around with it. But yeah, Tammy Kirk, you're welcome. Any more questions? Yeah, Adam, right? I mean, even 1983, we only had 4 storms. Water was a lot cooler back in 1983, though. But 1983, we still had a major hurricane hit Houston. We'll talk about that tomorrow. I got to save some content. So we'll be live Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Friday, I'm flying away for a wedding. Going to Minnesota. I was just in Wisconsin. Now I'm going to Minnesota. What's up with that? Maybe I'll get some weather up there. I've been already checking the weather. Maybe I'll get something to cover in Minnesota. We do have a vacation planned July 4th. I'm taking Starlink with me. I would love Wink News, Holly. Matt is a good friend of mine, believe it or not. We text a lot. We text each other a lot. Who would have thought this dude would have Delgado and Dennis and Deskins and Devitt, Lauren, a million Mets, Burris, I got so many. Shay up in the Carolinas, Jesse in Louisiana. I mean, I got all these phone numbers now. I mean, it's crazy that they welcomed me into the weather world. But I love the weather. So, Christina, it's up very top here. Google AI on my website. You can see it right there, top left. Look around for it. So I do a shout out to ABC at the beginning. I always like to do another shout out. So let me do today's shout out to Furman. If you want 30% off. Hey, I got to tell you a story about Furman. Let me click on Furman. 30% off, MWP30 free shipping. You can click on this Get 30% off Furman right here, and it'll automatically apply the code. If you forget, just type it in. Met a coach this weekend that was a fan from Tallahassee. Her and her dad follow Mike's Twitter page. Her dad follows Emily's story because of softball. Again, the purpose of the post about non-weather is I meet people and we don't talk weather, we talk about life. And that is important to me because I have to keep something going on in my mind. And I love people and I love talking stories. And this particular little meeting was, hey, we talked about where they were from in the Midwest and tornadoes, moving down to hurricane country, following Emily, softball. It was a great 15-minute conversation. Snow in Tallahassee. I met so many people up in Tallahassee, by the way, this last weekend. Love the stories. But they went and bought a Furman because of us. And they love their Furman. They changed the oil for the season. So it really means a lot that companies that support, we only have a handful. I don't want to be advertising, but I have a good core of under 10, 6 to 8 really good companies that support us, that we do partnerships with, storm partnerships, and do a lot of post-storm stuff. Not, we're partners, meaning we help the industry together. And Furman does a really amazing thing with their fast team, especially with Lowe's last year with all the hurricanes. Good people. But anyway, we love them to death. And that was a cool story this weekend, someone that got a Furman because of our page. So thank you for that. All right, we'll be live tomorrow again. I'm excited about it. We'll talk about some more things. And I'm popping over to the Brew Crew now. The Brew Crewers right here. Shelly will get you hooked up if you want to sign up right there. We got a private little area for all of our diehards. So we'll see you tomorrow. All right, everybody have a great Monday. And I think it's going to rain here again. Looks like it. It's got that look. All right, see ya.